You loyal. We earn extra for talking to you. I don't know. I get reports of how many like individual chatters were in the box. I don't know. I don't think you get anything for chatting, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I know there's something with emojis, and then you can get, there's like a hype train. I don't know how all that works. It's a little bit beyond my level. I know some streamers get it that have like 1,000 people in there, and I know people that have like 40 something people every night. We average in like the mid teens to 20ish. Although next week, next Tuesday, I start doing the webinars for Nadix again, so we'll probably have some more. We'll have some new people coming in as well. All right. So Aussie Swiss, really, again, not a whole lot there. Aussie Singapore. This one, interesting enough, kind of went sideways again. It's still hanging out. I thought this one actually had more movement today, but it didn't. Yeah, it hasn't retraced fully, but it's kind of stopped. You guys can see on like the 1 hour. You guys can see over here. It basically just stopped, right? Up and down, pop, and then just went sideways. So I expected we get more out of this one, but no, not so much. Hold on one sec. SMT and my in-laws got me this thing, but like, I don't know if you guys know much about ginseng, but you can only like seep ginseng for like a very short period of time. If you do it too long, it gets bitter. This tea you have like a minute, 2 minutes, and it's good. You let it sit there for what, 20 minutes since I forgot that it was in there, and now it's like bitter. But I mean, I'll still drink it because it's there. But yeah. Oh, here's the 30-minute. All right. Let's see. Cat. It's as simple as that. Look at that. Fast. Fast, fast, fast. All right, so you guys can see on a daily. Again, continue to move down, but has kind of at this point stopped a little bit on the CAD Swiss. You can see again, price popped up, kind of based here, and then popped again, and that's what we've come back down to. So it'll be interesting to see what will it take to break through the zone on the daily, right? On the daily, we are kind of smack in the middle. We talked about that yesterday, that we had to kind of get to one of these two sides before we'd really be ready to trade it, and that's kind of again, it went down a little bit lower, but not too much. On the 4 hour, kind of same thing. Again, nice zone down here. It kind of pushed and nice pop. This one, it's all right. If you look to the left, you can kind of see what it bounced off of. I don't really like this upper zone as much on the 4 hour. I like the daily much better. And again, you guys can see what we've been bouncing off of is an hourly zone on the CAD Swiss. So I don't know. For me, because it's an off pair and your spread's going to be a little bit higher, I'm going to wait till we get to a really high quality zone, none of these kind of little ones. And for me, I'm going to find those on the daily right here. And again, not bad top and bottom. I'm okay with either of those two. I would like it to either come all the way down or go all the way back up before I get long either of those pairs. All right. Looking at the CAD yen, okay, on the daily, you guys can see that, again, this one kind of came down, but did kind of the same thing, right? It came down, and there's a level of basing right here, right? You can see it's obviously in an uptrend setup on the daily and weekly, but price came up, base sideways, and then pop, and that's where we're at right now. So it's running into some buyers. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, is it the cleanest level? Not really. Again, there's kind of back and forth in this area, and you guys can see, again, it marked the zone a little bit lower, but you had the mark off this entire basing area, and what I don't like about this is there's not even really like any clean areas up top to be able to kind of add into this to go to the downside. So, as much as I like the CAD yen as a pair to look at and trade, I don't really have an entry to the downside. I mean, here's a double right here, not really great. Even on the 30-minute, you can see on the 30-minute, a lot of small stuff, right? Not a bad kind of move out of the area, right? Came up, kind of based, and then dropped. Here it did the same thing again. This isn't necessarily the zone. Here's the first base, right? This drop, sideways, and drop, and it came up and tested that, and then pushed lower. So there's something sitting in there. And this, if you look to the left, you can see these ascending wicks down here. So this is actually more back here. This zone is not bad, right? This is pretty clean up, sideways for 3 candles, and then bam, this thing slammed right down again. So this is, I would rate this one here. I would say this here is not a bad zone. Where is it? That is not a bad zone for me, right? And I would say that probably of all these, This one went a little bit. This one may be okay for something in the short term. This one I believe is tested, and this one again, it's part here. There's a little sliver of black space above it, so there's still a little bit of room there. But again, this one is basically the reaction off of this. So probably this, and then if I had to pick another one, say that zone. Those would be the three that I'm looking for in this one. You guys can find the accompanying. So that would be the CAD. Let's look at the Swiss yen. All right, so Swiss yen. Swiss yen had a bit of a retrace, right? Yesterday we talked about we just gone out of that daily zone. We missed entry from the zone that like the one we really liked, and the aggressive entry kind of went to the downside. Baby's running through the hallway yelling da 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 da. My wife is probably extremely happy. 4 hours a little bit weird on this one, right? I mean, here's where we are now. Here's where we were last night. 17 pips. I don't know. I mean, it bounced between these two. I mean, it did come off this one, I bet, but really, I think I'd still wait till we got back up top, just to be on the safe side. I still think on this one, my entry would stay the same. 113.71, and we're at 112.90, so we need about 80 pips to move on this. Again, it could do it tomorrow. I mean, any type of bad news, we could kind of see the top. Bad news or good news, you know, we could see the. To the downside, it's kind of hard because there's really not a whole lot of, you know, not a whole lot of indication of where this one's going to stop. I mean, obviously here there's a basing level that we passed through. It formed a new one, but kind of, you know, in the middle of nowhere here. So, you know, there's some hidden orders in here somewhere. There's some in here somewhere. They're not super clean. Swiss yen is a weird one, right? Because again, yen is who everybody trades against, and the Swiss is kind of a biological, not a biological, like a geopolitical based pair. Not necessarily virus, because they're, you know, again, there's no such thing as neutrality against a virus. It doesn't work that way. But at this point, with all countries getting this, I don't see anybody invading anybody else. Like nobody, like at this point, nobody would want to invade China, right? That'd be like the worst thing you could possibly do. So it doesn't necessarily have the same geopolitical risk at this point that have, or that it would have in this situation. Even Iran, if Iran has cases, nobody wants to go to Iran right now. Wait till the dust settles first. What do we got here? Has to be panic instancing. I don't know. This is from Canada, so I can't read the label because it's in French. It goes in and out sometimes. See, it has like an auto adjuster. So if I stop and I think, it changes and gets loud, and then it gets too loud, and then it makes it quiet again. It occasionally picks up the birds. Oh, you just like the wine, Ernest. I think everybody's in agreement that you like the wine. Does, guys. Sometimes it's called technology. It's not my fault that you guys have dial-up internet. Not my fault. Here, I'll show you guys. It's definitely not my fault. Watch. Where is it? Where is it? I'm gonna even do this while I'm streaming right now. This is the funny thing here. I'll even do this for you guys. As I'm streaming, so again, my content is gonna be weird because, you know, it's gonna be slow because I am streaming right now. So even right now, I'm getting what, 540 down right now, even though I'm streaming at the same time. They're like, don't use your internet connection. So I have YouTube up, I have Twitch up, I am streaming at the same time, and then do have, you know, obviously the streaming software up, all on the same machine. So I just want to let you guys know that, you know, ping of 9 and my upload speed. Check my upload speed, guys. Look at this. Look at my upload speed. Now, the other thing too is I always get a warning. There it is. There it is. When your speeds are over 100 megabytes, we recommend that you use this because it's too high for us. It's too high for us to get an accurate reading. So, I mean, come on, guys. Even with everything I have going, 3 streaming programs and uploads, I want to hear it. Bunch of babies. Debbie, I love you too, Debbie. And meanwhile, Sean's up here like, with his AOL, upstate Michigan. He's like, oh God, if it's cloudy, it's going to go down to 14.4. No, my connection is fine, guys. And like I said, I have one client of MT4 running. I have the scanner running. Yeah, I have like so much stuff running at the moment. Like everything to tell you don't run for that test, I have running right now. So we'll go back and start with Euro Aussie. All right, so Euro Aussie. Look at this guy. So pushed up and we kind of missed entry. We're looking for an entry on the daily on this one. And again, we're going to try to refine it a little bit, but came up and it actually missed. On the 4 hour, you guys can see this is kind of what we had, that area that we said, hey, we could probably refine this a little bit. Just didn't make it up there. On the hourly, same thing. You can see we were close. There's the refined zone, right? There's your refined zone. Nice drop, sideways, little retest, and bam, slam down. We didn't quite make it, and it's turned and actually started to slam back to the downside, which again can happen. This current hourly candle that we're in is about 55 pips. So this bad boy can move. Remember, this one has 106 pip ATR. So again, got close. Again, super ascent up on this one. Got very close. We're kind of right there, but we're just not there enough. We got close. So we got front run on this one. And again, this wasn't necessarily a bad trade setup. So we'll mark it, and again, we can continue it tomorrow and see, if it gets up to there. If it does go a bit further up, again, it's still, it's still a trade you could potentially take. I may drop it down to like a 30-minute. Let's see what we got here. Fresh it there. The biggest spike off. It's not the highest. The highest is up here, but it's not it's not a bad zone. But that really lowers our risk a bunch if we take something small like that. Yeah, it's still about 22 pips. This sucker can move. But you guys can see that's kind of what you're looking at in there on a 30-minute. If you're looking to get into this one, like I said, this sucker can move, and that would be coming up a little bit higher. Hit a good zone last time price was there. It did. Obviously, kind of, like I said, I'll bring it back so you guys can see it. Last time price was there, it pushed down. It retraced back up again, hit it, and then bam, in one big candle. So had sellers last time. Again, there's a high probability that they're there again, just because the movement as it came out of there. If it comes back up again, it potentially could be the same trade. So again, nothing that we can trade right now out of it though. EuroCAD on the daily. Look at this thing, man. Another pushback, and we are getting a little bit of a pullback. So again, we do have something going on there. Let's see. Again, bounced off at nice little demand zone. So I don't know about that one either. Honestly, none of these ones up top are really great. It's not even pulled one on the 15. Still did not make it up to that zone. So, big question is this zone here. Let's see, how many pips do we have this one? Here's why I'm looking at that zone, guys. The reason I'm looking at that zone is because if you're looking over here on the daily, you can see we had this big push up. Now, if this is the impulse move, you'll typically get a corrective move, right? And then we have another impulse move up again. So it's looking for orders. On the 4 hour, kind of funky with this green. It went pretty low down here to grab some things here, and not super clean. But if we go down to the hourly, it kind of helps us break down that level here. And that gives us a little bit better of an entry. Now, it's about 20 pips. We may be able to shrink that a little bit more. Yeah, it takes it down to 10. So I think the 30-minute would probably be the best one to take this off of and look for it to go to this level. And again, that would be coming down, grabbing some orders in a nice area. Last time it was there, we saw price pop off of it pretty well. The 1 to 3, again, we don't know what's going to be from the 1 to 3 till now. But we do see that, again, not a bad area. And the 1 to 5 is actually not in a horrible place either. So, excuse me. Not a bad potential long out of that one. That's Euro CAD. Euro Swiss. You can see Euro Swiss actually just popped into a demand. So, look at that. Talk about this zone being good on the daily. It is just literally riding along the top of it. So not much. Again, there's no trend in this one whatsoever in the Euro Swiss. I'm not even going to drop it to a lower time frame. We're just way too close. If it has one little spike, again, it could be off to the races for this one. So, yeah, this one needs to move. We need some trend. Look at this. Trend up, down, back, forth, sideways. Boom. So Euro Swiss, nothing that we have tradable that would be interested in right now. Euro Pound. So we mentioned last night that Euro Pound was actually sitting inside of that demand zone looking for a pop. And again, on the daily, it gapped into the zone, came up, and is now pulling back again, looking for orders. It was down slightly today, only 37. The daily ATR is 55, so it didn't even move a full amount. Looking at this one on the 4-hour, you can kind of see what we're kind of wedged between. Here's where the gap started, right? This is where Sunday night was. And we pushed up. We did not go as high as we previously were. And again, it gave us this kind of cap at the top. And then price kind of pushed down, did not go as low. So we definitely have some consolidation this one back and forth. At about 37 up and about 51 down. A zone of 16 up top and a zone of 26 on the bottom side. I probably wouldn't take that whole thing. I'd probably shrink that a bit. I'd probably shrink that down a bit. I see this one. I'm looking more. I feel like this is the better trade. Everything we've seen with the pound, like I said, we've seen pound strength across the board. This one is obviously pound strengthening right now, but I feel like we need a bit of a pullback. Let me see. Do we have news tomorrow? Hold on, guys. I'm checking news real fast. No pound news tomorrow. Looking for some type of a catalyst that would have us shoot back up to that zone. We got a bit below. I mean, this one is, what, about 60 pips away. I mean, we have one ATR before we get down to the buying area. That may be more of a conversation tomorrow. Tomorrow night, that may be more of a conversation that we have. I just don't know. I mean, it's going to have to move a full ATR from right now down to that zone before we're really looking to buy. I would say that I'm a bit more bearish. I like the I like the strength that the pound has got into it. So we can get back up into this. What is it marking off? 83.90. I think that's a little bit better of a zone to be able to take to the downside, at least on the 4-hour basis. Looking at it on the hourly, yeah, you could probably shrink this a bit too. We could probably shrink this up into that level right there. That puts you at what? About 10 pips, 11 pips. Again, put you in a nice place for the 1 to 3, and your 1 to 5 is a little bit far, but I think it's probably doable. Okay. And again, you guys can really get the image of kind of where we're wedged in between kind of the euro pound. Looking at euro yen. I hate candles like that. I really hate candles like that are a big wick up top, big wick at the bottom, and little body. Can't even make it what's mine. Really just not a fan of that. Again, on the daily, I hate that candle. So yeah, we're gonna skip euro yen. I don't see anything that screams, hey, that's a good one. Look at this one. There we go. So we mentioned this before that we had a large zone up top. Again, that's a monthly zone. We're not really going to do the monthlies. There's your weekly zones. Again, this is on a daily, so we'll move it down a bit. There's your 4-hour, and you guys can see on the 4-hour, you can see that this zone up here is also a daily zone. So not this one, not this one. This guy up here. That one is the one where we have a daily zone kind of overlaid in the same exact area. I think that would be what we want to wait for. we have price come up and tag that zone. And again, we probably make it a bit bigger. There's the actual daily zone itself. That's 39 pips there. Let's see if we can shrink it a little bit. Let's see, how much is that? That's not even a great zone. Not the best zone. Again, this red test candle went all the way top of it, so not really the best. This one, not really into. Again, you guys can see that it's been tested multiple times here. Went higher, went higher, went higher, went higher again, and then finally started to collapse off of it. So obviously there's some sellers there pushing it to the downside, but like I said, it's bashed this area multiple times. I don't know that it would hold again. This one's okay. I mean, slight test there, but nothing really. None of those I would say are the absolute, the best. Like, oh, gotta definitely trade that one. Best one I think would be up top here. So we'll see how that one. New Zealand, euro dollar. So here's the daily. Okay, really not too much difference, right, from what we see. And again, you can see that we're still in a downtrend setup. But again, downtrend setup into an area of demand is really a no-no. Again, it moved 4 pips in 24 hours. Can I change that to 48? Let me see. I can't change it. So in 48 hours, you guys can see this one has moved 36 pips total to the top side. So nothing really super exciting there, right? Yeah, just not really loving that one on the daily. Let's go down to the 4-hour. This is not a bad 4-hour entry. It did spend quite a bit of time there, but it really pushed at a nice, really kind of impulse move out of it. Push down, little pullback, push down again. So this kind of zigzag effect right here is pretty nice. That's not horrible. On the 1-hour, let's see, what do we got here? Not as clean here. Oh, that's kind of junk. I think the best one I like on this one is this. Really the 4-hour, and like last night, yeah, 15 pips. I think we're still waiting for this one, the 109.10. 109.10 is, I think, what we're looking for. Let's take this off. Let me put the. Euro Singapore, red day inside of the demand zone. You guys can see how this one is turned around. There's the 4-hour on that one. Like I said, this one is a very technical pair. You would never imagine this one in a million years, but I mean, how about that for technical entry? We bounced off this bottom section that we had talked about and rallied all the way up. And again, this one went crazy. Pulled back again. We hit the 4-hour zone, and now we're pulling away. So this one is currently about 40 pips deep in profit. Not a bad area if you've been taking this one off of again, higher end of the curve. Small, the zone's not huge, but it's not. Again, this is a 4-hour, so you're talking about about 25 pips, and you're up almost 2-to-1 on the other direction. So not too bad. No, nothing to jump into it right now. I'm trying to see on the lower time frame. You guys can even see it here. Here's the daily overlaid on top of the 1-hour chart. So you knew we were in something, right? There's the 4-hour, and again, you guys can see what it went off of on the 1-hour. There's the projection. So again, whoops, not that one. This zone right there. You guys can see there's your 1 to 3, and actually I'm off a little bit on the top, but that's okay. There you go. Okay. So that one ended up just hitting a bad pop up. Grab, and let's see. Now the risk on that one would have been only about 12. So again, 12 pip risk. Spread is very small. It's only about 2, right? And again, you're up 33. Actually, I guess now you're up 37. At peak, you're up 41, and profit target 2 is right at 50. About to hit full profit on top on side of that. Those European pairs. Let's go down and look at the pound pairs. All of 12 megs here. Sean, do you even have an upload speed? You still live in Michigan. Hey, Michigan has some places that do have good internet, but then there are places that have no internet. So he needs cheese to go with that wine. That's everybody jumping on. That's why last year, I don't know if you guys remember, Jack went to Costa Rica for a couple months. And he did really good, like being in solitude, not going out and drinking and stuff like that. His trading really went to another level. Great trip. Obviously, with kids, I can't do that, but um, it was really funny. Anytime Jack would try to like do any type of like broadcast or anything, the internet would just cut out. Like the hamsters just could not handle the internet down there. He's like, "Yep, can't do it. Sorry." Like I think to cover like one webinar or something like that for him, or two webinars. It was, I guess, like 2 years ago now. It wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. Or maybe it was last year. Maybe it was last year. I don't know. They're all blending together at this point. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like he just had no internet speed whatsoever. So looking at this one, guys, again, no trend in this one. We've had a little bit of a pullback. You can see these two little greens over here. They're turning yellow because we're in an uptrend setup. But you can see two very small ones. This one has moved. Pull the 24-hour pip change. You can see this one's moved 11 pips in 24 hours. So just not enough movement in this one. Again, this can be a big mover, even on lower time frames. You guys can see. Look at this 1 hour. I mean, even trying to stretch it out to make it look really exciting. Again, wedge between this area of supply, this area of demand, and we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And top to bottom, about 45 if you could grab it from the very top and the very bottom. But I mean, literally, it was this 3 hours down and then 2 hours back up again, and it's been the same spot the whole rest of the time. So even the lower time frame, look at this 30-minute. We're not even hitting the top and the bottom. We're just kind of staying right in the middle, and this, little push down, little push up, and that was it. So no trend. Not allowed to trade on this one. So as you guys can see on this one, pound Aussie, we'd been pushing higher and higher, and we mentioned that, hey, listen, there's probably some sellers up here. This thing went up, based, and then bam, dropped again, and we're back in the same area on the daily. You guys can see on the 4 hour, we're sitting inside of a selling zone as well. It's hit it once and pulled back, hit it a second time, pulled back a little bit farther, pushed higher, and now this one went a little bit lower. So I would say both sides are starting to wane. The strength on the top side is obviously getting eaten up as the price goes higher. But the fact that the price is also starting to go lower also shows to me that it looks like the buyers are starting to, become less and less. It's not able to support it to the same level. So looking on the hourly, you guys can see what we had here. On the hourly, it shrunk the risk even a little bit more. Dropping this one in for a risk level, you can see we were about 2/3 of the way. Now it has started to pull back again. The risk level on this one was about 28. Currently, you'd be up 30. It was up as much as 55. Again, this is one of those pairs that has the ability to move. The daily is 142 pips, so even on an hourly, like, yeah, it's not a bad trading. Like, whoa, it's a lot of risk. Yeah, the pair moves more, right? Here's your 30-minute, kind of the same thing, right? Same area. So the zone was pretty well performed because you can see it on the 30-minute and the hourly, and it's the exact same zone. And again, when something is like this and it's twice as much risk as you normally take, you just take half the position size, and the risk is exactly the same as what it would have been. So again, don't get so tied into the pips, right? Remember, there's two things that we have to focus on: how big is the stop loss in pips, right? And then two, are we position sizing correctly, right? I mean, it's great when we get one that's 7 or 8, but you can lose just as much on a 7 to 8 pip risk as you do on like a 24. You just have to position size yourself differently and make the pip change total the exact same. No difference between those two. So that's where we are right now. We're about 3/4 of the way through profit in pound Aussie. Pound dollar, again, this is up 60 in the last 24 hours, so not a bad run on this guy. So again, nice push up today. We see that it's red right now, giving us that kind of setup confirmation. As you can see right here, uptrend setup. We are pulling back. It is looking for some orders. It is kind of in a weird area. Like I said, I still like this area up top. Like I said, I'm still, again, this would be kind of the aggressive version, but we got quite a bit to go there. In the 4 hour area here, not a lot. I mean, this is pretty junky, right? Nothing super, super clean. And like I said, we're only taking things that are real clean. I remember last night I said we're not taking this entire zone here. It's way too big for the formation on this chart. You can see price pushed into it, tapped it, came down, pushed into it, and is now kind of stuck and based on the lower end of this one. Here's the 30-minute. We mentioned again, until it really gets up into this zone up here. Until you get up into there's really not too much. And again, that coincides with a 30-minute zone as well. It's probably fine, either one. Actually, I think the 30 minutes a little lower. Yeah, we'll take this one. We'll take the hourly. Give us a little bit more room up top for it to come to. All right, that's kind of what we're looking for. So again, we were not using this. This is way too big. The way that it was formed, not really the best zone. Again, the indicator draws it, but doesn't mean the indicator is always correct. So still looking to get short at 130.43 to what, 130.53. So about 10 pips risk in the pound dollar. Pound CAD. You guys can see pound CAD is kind of in the middle of nowhere, right between these two daily zones. On the 4 hour, we are actually sitting in a 4 hour zone right now. So again, it's gone into it, it's come back out again, it's gone into it, it pulled back, and it kind of just not baseline and stopped in this zone. Looking at it on the hourly, you can see small hourly zone that we keep bumping into, right? We hit it here and kind of came back down, and that's probably close to a 2-to-1, 3-to-1. Actually, I wouldn't bet if that is, yeah, it actually bounced off of there. So again, this is the hourly, guys. So you could have taken this one off that. Again, another 30-minute hour zone. Again, the 30-minute would have been here, a little bit lower risk, and again, you could have got into it for much, much smaller risk and still made profit. But again, on the hourly, same thing. These hourly kind of tops and bottoms have been very, very good. Again, this is definitely a trader's market, not a swing long hold market. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Flaunting or going down to hit that profit target from there. From their point, like I said, if it does come back in that range, it's only tapped it briefly. You could probably get another trade entry out of that one if you wanted to. And that's at 172.93 to 173.09. If you were looking to end up getting something out of that one. All right. Let's see, what do we got here? Pound Singapore. Pound Singapore is up in that daily supply zone. So again, if you guys are looking to short this pair, now would be kind of the opportunity to do it. Now we have seen a lot of pound strength lately, and we haven't seen too much Singapore strength. So again, it is up high, but it is inside of a daily zone. So again, we would be probably looking to get short this pair. Even on the 4 hour, you can see it's come up and it's kind of riding along the bottom. It's obviously running into sellers in that range. So again, just keep it, be aware of that one if you're looking to take this one. Again, not everybody will trade this one. Right now, the spread on this one is 3. So it is going to be a little bit higher than what you are normally seeing. Okay. Pound Swiss on the daily. You guys can see pound Swiss on a daily is kind of between these two zones. It's respected both those zones, so I'd be a bit cautious in trading anything but those two zones. You can see we have consolidation here on the lower. I'll stretch it out, make it look really, really good. You can see price spent a lot of time kind of right above this green line right here. And again, we can't even get back down to it. And we had one high, we had a lower high, and then a lower high. So again, we definitely have some sellers up top. So again, rocking a hard place for this one on the 4 hour. Looking at the hourly, man, when it goes to here, it sucks all the life out of this one. And here, we were actually even in a smaller area. It's about 60 pips, so it's not horrible. But we're kind of wedged between this level here. Whoops. This level here. Right? And this one down here. And I mentioned this last night, right? We mentioned this, but I said, yeah, even though it's been here 6 times, it did bounce away. It did get a little bit of retrace up. And you can see it hit it today and pushed back down. But it would have been a very small move if you were in this position now. I mean, just take yourself out. There's not, it's lost all the oomph. It's just literally going sideways at this point. So, but that was the trade we marked off last night. And this one, again, worst case scenario, you take a break even on it. I think at its peak, you were probably up about 30, right? At this point, you'd be up about 9. So if you're going to just call it a scratch trade, take the 9 and be done with it. Pound New Zealand. Okay, so pound New Zealand is sitting up inside of that daily demand. I'm sorry, daily supply. So again, got to be thinking shorts on this one, right? Again, kind of a similar situation to where the pound Singapore was, up sitting inside of daily supply. As you can see, it's been a long time since prices here. We have no levels on the top on the 4 hour. On the hourly, same thing. Nothing is formed. 30-minute. We have a couple. I guess we don't even have anything on the 30-minute. It's just pushing too high. So really, the best thing we have here, and the risk level on this one is going to be a bit big. Yeah, it's 183, so it's definitely not something we're taking. This one has a daily ATR of 167, so this one can get pretty volatile. The fact that it's kind of at like near-term highs, again, probably not the best to try to pick a top in this one. Yeah, if we had it in Nadex, you could start playing some positions, but with the way that the markets have been lately, again, just not, all of a sudden you find out tomorrow that, the UK is taking the Olympics over, this thing is going to go boop and pop up. So, again, wouldn't mess with this one too much. We just don't have enough near-term supply. We had to pull, accurate zones off. Okay. All right, let's go down to New Zealand, see what we got over here. I'll make these quick. New Zealand CAD sitting inside of a demand zone. Let's see, what do we got on the 4 hour? 4 hour, we got a little bit more room to run. There is a zone down here that's about 14 pips. So again, we are definitely in a downtrend. It has pulled a bit higher, did break some levels, did go up and grab some more sell orders. This zone, though, is rather small. You're only looking at about 14 pips. So again, nothing too crazy. But price did push down, came up, and then tested it right here. You guys can see this green, this as it turns yellow. You can see it came back down and tested it. So not a horrible position if you're looking to get into that. I wouldn't drop any lower. We don't need to. New Zealand dollar. Same situation, super close. We went down a little bit today, not too much. We're getting right into those two demand zones. The indicator pick one, which is the more aggressive, and then I marked off in the white box the more conservative. And again, we could rather be taking a long off of this one, although I currently have it set up for a break of that zone to the downside. We haven't even breached the top of it yet, so still a little bit out on this one. But again, I'm looking for this to break lower, come back up, and then continue to the downside. New Zealand yen. It looks like New Zealand yen has broken some stuff here. Yeah. New Zealand yen blew through this thing, finally broke through the bottom. So again, a little bit of refreshment here. Did not get an entry to the downside though. We blew through, kind of based a little bit, and then dropped. So unfortunately weren't even able to get into a zone. It's a shame too, because that's a nice little break, right, of that area. So now if you look to the left, you see the white line where price currently is. You're dealing with all this kind of just junk, right? Let's see. Let's take that off. This is what you're dealing with. Where is there explosive movement off of this zone? I wouldn't say anything over the downside. I have no entry on the top side. Gaps, lots of wicks. There's New Zealand Swiss. All right, so New Zealand Swiss broke below, so that's not bad. Let's see what we've got here. Raise this target now. No pullbacks though. Need a pullback area. Give us a pullback area. There's not anything good here. Best one is still sitting up here, guys. It's pretty far away, and it is. It's 61 pips. It has a daily ATR of 46, so it's still over a day before we can get up to there, but that's really probably the cleanest area. I mean, this is okay. This is not really above it. That's probably a better one than this. Really, this is the cleanest line. All the way up in here, up at 62.30, but again, it's over an ATR away, so not too much we can do about that one. So that's Aussie Swiss. Let's drop down to the US pairs. We'll start with dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is -4 in 24 hours. You can see again a little bit of pop, a little bit up again. Still waiting for this to come back a bit higher. We're just not there. It's close. You guys can see here's the 4-hour. No trend. It's absolutely flat on this one. No movement whatsoever. Would still hold off for a breach of this top zone here. See if price can get up to 133.22. I know it's about 40 pips from where we are right now. It has an ATR of 46 on the daily, so with this kind of reduced kind of movement, it's going to take a day before it gets up there. But maybe oil will give us that pop that we need if we do get into that range. Definitely, I'll be looking for some shorts on this one. Again, we'll even drop it down to some of the lower time frames. So you can see, even with 30-minute, we got, we're wedged top and bottom, and we're sitting right in the middle right now. So, for me, look at the daily. Again, looking to short that when we get up into that range. That's dollar CAD, dollar yen. You guys can see here on the daily. We did pull back. Now, we didn't make it all the way down, interesting enough. I thought we would. It looks like this one is going to continue to rally up for a little bit, right, until we run into a little bit of a zone here. Now, I did mention, guys, here's the dot from last night. What did I tell you guys about that dot? If we were at the dot, right, if we were at the dot for news and it was in a zone, look for some type of pop-up, right? In this case, it just happened to go actually much earlier. I think ended up hitting, and there was that pop through. Remember, I was like, oh man, that would be great if it was in that zone and we get the pop, and it did. It did actually pop from where I marked that zone. Didn't quite make it up to the 3-to-1 though. It got up to about this range and then started the base and kind of come back down again. So, you were up a total about 28 pips in that trade had you taken it, but after that, it just continued to collapse down. Didn't go as far though, right? Came all the way down. And again, if you look back, I'll do the back testing here. You guys can see there's no levels here, right? There's nothing that signifies that's where it would turn. And again, if you look back, it's a very, very minor level. So to me, it looks like it's reaching for orders. It wants to make another push and it knows there's something below. I think it wants to push through here, but it's got to find orders. And unfortunately, there's not a lot above. So again, are we in a downtrend? Sure, absolutely. So grabbing some orders, it's looking, it's trying, it wants to find some. There's a few little kind of tiny levels here on the way that it can grab, but yeah, and you're gonna have a lot of people going long this pair rather soon here because again, you're gonna have this trend line here and it's starting to accelerate past the trend line, and people are gonna be like, "Hey, it's breaking the trend, time to go long." That's what the rules say. So again, don't be surprised that this thing suddenly starts to take a quick flap back to the downsides. As it's catching those people. Um, but same assessment as last night. I needed to get a little bit lower before I'd be willing to just take a blind long off of it. Um, it's still obviously in a downtrend, and again, you're in kind of a downtrend setup situation. Um, pulling back right now, so there was that daily kind of turn. Look at that. That was the nice little. That was Friday. That was Friday. And we've pulled back and we've started to mess with. We'll see. I think we'll make another push to the downside. We'll see how low we can go. But for me, again, I'm looking at this top zone here on the daily, and I'm looking at the zone that starts down here at 108.80. Okay, I know it's a little bit away, but you get one big candle, and you're messing with this level for a potential long. And I drop it a little bit lower than that. Marking off a wick over wick. I'd mark the bottom of the space. All right. So that is dollar yen. Like I said, dollar yen actually, guys, on the lower time frames, there's been a couple different setups in here. You're kind of getting close to one right now. And again, like I said, there was a smaller time frame today. Again, it's one of those ones definitely catches during the day. Dollar Swiss. Here's a dollar Swiss. Again, we've had another day on the downside. And again, I'd say it's a bit dollar weakness. We're talking about, you know, in one day, we're only talking about 30 pips to the downside. I don't even have that one. Oh, yeah, I do. It's minus 14 pips in the last 24 hours. So not really a ton. And again, some of that had to do with a rally and then a pullback on this one. Looking at the 4-hour, you can see we are sitting inside of a 4-hour area of demand. It has bounced a little bit off of that area. And it's not horrible. I mean, if you look to the left, we did definitely have some buyers here before. It came up, launched it up, came back down, tested, and then pushed through. So if anything, I do like the fact that this one is pushing to the downside. The ways that I play this one, again, if it comes up to here, you could short it, or I would play a true break of this area to the downside. Break, black space, retouch, that's your risk level, and then it continues to drop to the downside. So that's all I got for dollar Swiss right now. Dollar Singapore, you guys can see, again, missed the entry, and then we've had red after that, but it's not like they're not super clean red candles. So with as many other things we've had trading, this is probably not the best place to focus attention. Again, your spread's going to be a little bit bigger, and it's a little bit more volatile here. You guys can see on the 4-hour even, it just again, gap from here up, down, and kind of back up again. So hasn't really left where we are on Friday. We closed Friday here, and now we closed here about 11 pips away. So think of it like that. Since Friday, we've moved 11 pips. A little bit up, a little bit down, but not a lot of overall movement. So looking across at the indices. Now let's focus on oil real quick. Okay, we'll do oil first. So this is what we have going on oil right now. All right, looking at it on the 4-hour, you guys can see we built levels up top. We came back down. We did bounce off a very, very minor level down here on the 4-hour. Looking at it on the hourly, again, you can see the bounce here. Again, pretty interesting bounce. We do have 2 levels up top, although I wouldn't say either of those levels screams like, yes, awesome, awesome level. Dropping down to a 30-minute, you can kind of get a better idea. And again, this is not horrible. It's not bad. There's another level up top. This level is garbage. I wouldn't trade off that level. Really, I like them. I like it much better up here at 55, but now we're $5 away, and we're not going to jump $5. So a big question is we're going to be where we are tomorrow morning. Ideally, overnight, I would like this to rally a bit higher. If we can get a rally up overnight and go from here at 50.30 up to 51.40. Now, again, a dollar move is a lot. That may be the play tomorrow morning. But again, I want us to be in a zone before the news tomorrow. The other thing is we kind of move to the downside, and that's about 50 cents. That may be the play. If this thing comes down to this 49.72 area, look to get long before news tomorrow. I hate to say that because I don't want it to go over 50, but that may be the play. Look for this to go long in that zone because unfortunately there's not a whole lot to the top side. A little bit of a shorting area here, right? We got a little bit right here. I like this pattern with the 3 wicks making lower lows. That's not horrible. Here, I'll move it so you guys can see just a little bit. Right there. Like that pattern. Like what I see in there. So that's the other option. That one is not too bad at the top side, right? I'm talking about 25, 30 cents. So maybe that's where CL play is tomorrow. Coming up to that base drop on the hourly, and then getting short that one on a lower duration binary or something, so we can keep our risk super low on that one. But I'll check that in the morning. Looking at, let's look at gold. Okay. Yeah, look at this one. Definitely pushing to the downside. So on the daily, this is what we had, right? Big spike down and a little bit of a pullback right now. Again, still giving us that uptrend setup. Again, we had that pullback, right? But on the 4-hour, what do we got here? You guys can see impulse correction, impulse move down, bit of a correction, and now again it's turning red. Didn't necessarily turn off any type of a zone in there. So again, I still think that it probably has a bit more to go to the downside. Looking at the hourly, again, we had this zone up here that we were looking to sell off of. I'll delete it now because it's a bit far away. You can see another zone has actually been drawn based off of its push, its base, and it's kind of collapsed down. And again, it doesn't even look like it's getting as high right now. So it looks like it's going to push to the downside. Looking to the left, I mean, it's kind of like where, I mean, there's really not a whole lot. I mean, there's this little bit here, but that's kind of a retest off of this area. I mean, really to the downside, there's just, I don't know, there's not a lot that screams, I'm going to stop the price. I mean, this is so far away. I mean, this is so far away down here, but honestly, like this zone, this zone is really part of all this, right? This zone is the only clean thing, right? This little pop sideways and then boom, pop out of this one. But I mean, you're talking about this price is what, 1590, right? You're talking about a level, from here to here, right? That's where you got a little level at. That's pretty far away. I don't know if we can get up there. I think if anything, we may see a little bit of a spike. And again, it may be worth taking another little short, right? Take a little short off of that zone. You're talking about what? 1651 to 1658 as kind of a sell area. So indices going metals down and CL. So again, I'm more bearish gold right now. Silver's kind of the same way, right? You guys can see that silver, again, big day down. Didn't quite make it up to the zone, so the entry would have been a little bit difficult. On the 4-hour, you can see the zone that it's formed. Again, this one does actually have an area that's not horrible. Again, kind of the same situation where if you look back, there's a little bit of a zone. Dialing it down a little bit more. You can see it's drawing a zone off where the gap is, right? It gapped down, it went up, it closed, and then kind of restarted over here. So a little bit funky of a candle in this one. Again, you guys can see right here, same situation. It popped up, it almost got entry. I do kind of something similar. Whoops, not there. Not there, not there. Something along those lines. And I'm okay with the 1 to 3. The 1 to 5 probably isn't a horrible target either. If we can get a little bit of a pop up, like I said, you had 3 consecutive kind of attempt here, lower, 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 boom, explosion. So that's 1820 to 1827. Okay. All right. In silver, looking at the S&P, basically down. I can just tell you guys it's down, right? This is called a cliff, right? You go, this is like, what was that game called? It was like on a like Atari 2600, like dirt bike something. I forget what it was called, but it's like right off the bottom. So where we are, again, if I was something to mark this on the daily, this is an area that I'd definitely be kind of keeping track of, and that's kind of what we bounced off of. It had a nice clean pullback, it based, and then popped and retested. So as far as the daily goes, at this point, I'm probably not necessarily bearish. Okay, it is green, it is bouncing off that level. It did just miss entry, but again, it's kind of, depending on how you draw it off of this body or the green one, that's what it hit to the top side. If we're able to break this one, then yes, I would definitely use this as some type of a Harry Potter. So again, if this breaks, definitely looking at it kind of this direction. Come down, retest, touch, and then drop. But, again, we've had 2 huge days down. Kind of what news could come out tomorrow that would continue to drive us to the downside is the big question. Or are we going to start rebounding? Will the oil numbers be good? Will, some of the other kind of, some of the other data that we have coming out, will that be good? Will new home sales be good? I mean, any number of things that could be good. Again, that could potentially drive this back up again. This is just a huge move to the downside. Again, when we have bubbles like this, I mean, this is what happens. These things just collapse straight to the downside. So something will typically, stop it. It's obviously not in the bottom of the curve, but there is something sitting there, right? And that's on the daily. You can see here. You guys can see my white zone. It's marking off actually 2 different ones, top and bottom on the 4-hour, on the hourly, kind of the same thing, right? Now, if you're looking to get short this pair to kind of go to the downside, there is a couple different entries here. There's this one right here that's not marked off, but you got a little area right here that it dropped, and then you kind of have a base sideways. So And again, mark it off on your charts, but you're looking right around what, 3184, right? You get this pullback in this 3184 area, this drop, sideways drop area. That may not be a bad little place to get, entered. And again, downtrend setup on the 30-minute and 4-hour. So it is a downtrend setup. It is looking for orders. So it would be something along these lines right here. That one, but there's. Okay. And again, that puts your 1 to 3 and your 1 to 5 below that, right above the daily demand zone. Okay. So that's a potential short for tomorrow morning. The Dow, again, daily. Boop, boop, straight back down. Now this one is sitting inside of a zone. You guys can see it pretty clear as day right here, right? It's sideways up, basing, and then pop, and that's what it's sitting in. So, on the 4-hour, kind of the same thing, right? We just popped off a 4-hour zone. Okay, not necessarily surprising. This one actually, whoops. You guys can see that one is pretty much on its way to that 1 to 3 off that 4-hour zone. Like I said, it was breaking zones left and right, but it will eventually run into something and run out of steam and want to retrace a little bit. If not, for no other reason than to grab more orders to sell to the downside. That's kind of what it looks like it's doing now. Again, overnight, that may be where this one is heading. All right. This one does not have as clean of a drop to kind of get into it. You guys can see on the hourly, again, not really as clear. You don't have that same piece there. On the 30-minute, you can see that same kind of level in the middle. And again, you guys can see on this one how, entered that zone, but there's that same type of basing level, right? Drop, sideways, drop to the downside if you're looking for something tomorrow morning. Rallied up to that zone. So that's a way for you to get short. Again, a little bit of a long at this point. Okay. And every time it was like, man, it's getting watching. And again, looking to the left, you guys can see there is a little level of basing. Oh, this one is a little uglier. Again, that's where price gap to. And again, there's not as much clear here. So this one just kept pushing. And there's a couple places that I'd marked off where it's like, hey, listen, if price pulls back up, I'm getting short. If it goes to here, I'm getting short. And I couldn't get short. It just kept running faster and it would pull back and kept missing entries on this one. So then you guys can see some of the levels in here. Just boom, 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 boom. Just keeps going down. And this one does not have the same 4-hour demand zone. So of the three indices, I don't like this one. Well, I don't like it as much as I like the other two. But again, this is doing the same thing, popping up. All right. So those are some reentry targets going into tomorrow: gold, silver, S&P, oil. Again, like I said, oil, I'd like us to be up into this range, up at approximately what, 50, 60, right? 50, 58, 50, 60 in that range, about 25 cents above where we are right now. Maybe 30 cents, about 25 to 30 cents above where we are right now. I'd be looking to take a short before the news is released tomorrow morning. All right. So that's what I'm looking for. All right. All right, guys. With that being said, that is the last chart of the night. Let's go ahead and do your pip chips. It is 10:20. We are a little bit faster today, right? Let's go over here. Let's go back down to go. All right. So we got 13 people in. I could probably make this a little bit smaller. Like, why is it huge? Set for the blind. All right. So, and again, guys, I am going to add the difference up and readjust the pip chips tomorrow. I just didn't do it today. I'm actually about half hour before charts go. I was like, oh, you know what? I can do that to get them back up there. So I'll give you guys about another 30 seconds. Like the from, you guys remember that movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? He's like, the clock's ticking, dude. Ernest has got 2 in. Ernest is like, yeah, I'm taking this. You reset the pip chips? I'm taking it. Yeah, he's hedging it. He's hedging it. He's going for the win. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if he wins tonight, you guys are going to go like, you'll be like, oh, God, it's rigged again. He's like, I'm taking the pip chips. All right, ready? Closing it down in 13 seconds. Make a little bit of my tea. Yeah, it's bitter, but I hear it's healthy. Sean's like, all right, well, if he's doing it, I'm doing it too. All right, there we go. Close down, drawing the winner, and the winner is... It's so funny. Oh, look at that. Even that last minute kind of entry, like he just couldn't get it, right? Just couldn't get it. It's so rigged. Yeah, I mean, I think if they're taking databases back from like November, wasn't that like when Ernest was like winning like on command? Maybe the hacks are back in, right? Even though they've updated, the hacks have gone back in. So let's go ahead and give Ernest his 25. He's pulling away from Will on this one, but remember, I'm going to adjust it tomorrow, and on based off the recording, Will be ahead by probably like 60 or 70 pips at this point. All right. Look, we haven't seen Ryan for a little bit too. Ryan's back down here. All right. All right, we got a couple names that I haven't seen for a little while. Vigo I haven't seen for a while. Silent Dog I haven't seen for a while. Angry Mac I haven't seen for a bit. Angry Mac used to be all here all the time. And Vic, I don't know what Vic's doing. Vic's here for like 2 weeks straight, and then we don't see Vic for 2 weeks. I think he travels. I think Vic's having a good time. Maybe we'll have to send Vic a message, be like, hey, we missed you on chart school. We just reset it, so you're back in the game. All right, guys. I was only 3. Will's like, all right, 6 pip chips. I haven't recorded. He's peppery and salty. Yeah. Well, hey, we do have a salt thing. You guys can click the thing over there for salt. I don't know what the goose is. We have a snowball in there, and the salt is one of the most used ones that we have. We have this one just for you guys. You had 2 tickets. Yeah, but you only get 25 pip chips. You don't get 50. It's not like double. The other one is the one that you get double on. The drawing, not the giveaway. Or the contest, not the giveaway. It's 2 things. And it's like, I spent double. No, 2 tickets is not. You didn't win twice. You didn't do twice. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll do that from now on. If someone buys 2 tickets and if you can win twice, like I'll do the second winner. If you can win both of them instead of getting 50, I'll give you 100. Maybe we'll do that from now on. So if you buy 2 tickets and you win the first one, remember it removes your 1 ticket, and then we'll do the drawing a second time. And if you win the second time, maybe we'll give you 100. That'll get you 100 pip chips. So if I put in 30 tickets, 30 tickets would be a lot of pip chips. Put it this way, 30 tickets is not worth the risk of reward. Lindo tried to do that and learned the hard way. He spent like 200 pip chips to win 25. You do not want to risk 200 for 25. It just does not make sense. Remember, it's yeah. That's what he did. He went all in, and he's like, "Wait a second, what?" I was like, "Yes, you risked 200. You basically paid 200 to only make 25. So yes, you can say you took the win home, but you lost 175." He's like, "But I got the win." I'm like, "But it's not about the win, man. It's about staying green." So, all right, guys, I'm out of here. It's 10:23. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. I'll see you guys in the morning for gold. I'll touch base with you guys then. Take care, guys.